Hello students. Today we're going to know about the lesson Glimpses of India, which comprises of three parts. And we start off with the first part, that is A Baker from Goa, written by Lucio Rodrigues. Now this lesson is a glimpse of Goa, the influence of Portuguese in Goa, the bakers in Goa, and the various types of breads, the importance of bread in different occasions, and about bakers in Goa. So let's get into the lesson. Now we get to know about the author, who is Lucio Rodrigues aka Lagato, who is a third-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now Jiu-Jitsu is actually a Japanese martial art, but which is also done in Brazil, and it's called as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And he's also a fighter and a teacher. So Lucio Rodrigues is also a fighter and teacher, and he currently lives and coaches in London, UK. Now Lucio was nicknamed Lagato by Marcio Fitosa. So Marcio is again a third-degree black belt champion. If you know anything about the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, then he's most familiar because he's very famous for the Jiu-Jitsu in Brazil, and is a winner. So he nicknamed Lagato because it was sort of a joke, because Lucio's resemblance to the reptile. Now Lagato is actually a lizard. Okay, so Marcio, for fun's sake, he called him as Lagato, which means lizard, because he felt that he resembled a lizard. Okay, so now Lucio was born on 26th October 1980, and he's aged 39, and he's still alive. So he's, as we learned, that he's a third-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he still continues as a coach in London, UK. So now let's see what Lucio has to say about Goa. Our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically about those good old Portuguese days. The Portuguese and their famous loaves of bread. Those eaters of loaves might have vanished, but the makers are still there. We still have amongst us the mixers, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. Those age-old, time-tested furnaces still exist. The fire in the furnaces has not yet been extinguished. The thud and jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo, heralding his arrival in the morning, can still be heard in some places. Maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. These bakers are even today known as pada in Goa. During our childhood in Goa, the baker used to be our friend, companion, and guide. He used to come at least twice a day, once when he set out in the morning on a selling round, and then again when he returned after emptying his huge basket. The jingling thud of his bamboo woke us up from sleep, and we ran to meet and greet him. Why was it so? Was it for the loaf? Not at all. The loaves were bought by some Paskin or Bastin, the maidservant of the house. What we longed for were those bread bangles, which we chose carefully. Sometimes it was sweet bread of special make. So now, as we read through the paragraph, we understand that the initial lines speak about the Portuguese influencing Goa. So now here, what does it say? Our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically. Reminiscing nostalgically means thinking fondly about the past. If you have ever sat with your grandparents, you might have always heard them saying about their good olden days. So when they speak that way, where they are cherishing their good times when they were young or when they were kids, then you can term it as reminiscing nostalgically. Okay, nostalgically something where you feel very much attached to, which you like a lot. Okay, so here most of the elders, you can find them reminiscing nostalgically, where they're thinking fondly about their good old days. And what good old days they were? The Portuguese days. Now the Portuguese and the famous loaves of bread. So how is it relating to Goa and Portuguese? Now Portuguese are the people who influenced bread. So they loved their breads, loaves of bread. See, as you can see here, this one piece is called loaf of bread. Even what you buy in the market, if you buy one bread packet, it's called a bread loaf. Okay, so actually a bread loaf looks like this in the picture as I'm showing you there, which is uncut into slices. So this is a loaf, and all these many bread loaves are called as loaves. So the singular is loaf, L-O-A-F, and the plural is L-O-A-V-E-S. Okay, I hope all of you have understood. So Portuguese love their loaves of bread. And those eaters of loaves might have vanished, but the makers are still there. So what does it mean to say that the eaters have vanished? Which means the old, it obviously relates to the olden days where there were Portuguese living, but now they have vanished. Vanished, they are no more. They are either dead or they are moved out or they don't live anymore, obviously, isn't it? For various reasons, they aren't there. But the makers are still there, which means which is passed on. So the makers of this Portuguese bread are still there. Now, we still have amongst us the mixers, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. So what does it say? No matter whether these people who initially, that is the Portuguese, who loved bread, they might not be there now, but they have left their legacy of bread making here, and so we still have in Goa the mixers, that is, who mix the various flours or the ingredients to make bread, and the molders. Molders are who give shape. So as you can see here, breads are given various shapes. So that is called as molders. Now, if you're baking a cake, your mummy might be baking a cake for you. So now, or even if you go shopping to a mall where you have all the household items, so you see different shapes of tins. And when you ask the shopkeeper there, they tell you these are cake molds. So you have in heart shape, you have in a muffin shape, a round or a rectangle or a square, and now you even have silicone molds. So but in those days we didn't have anything like that, so it was made with hand. It was more of handmade things, so you needed people who really knew how to make that proper shape, so they are called as molders. And those who bake the loaves, and people who knew how to bake the loaves. Now those age-old time-tested furnaces still exist. Now, age-old time-tested, which means they are very, very old. Understand, which existed from long time ago, which are being used from a very long time. They still are in existence. Understand? So furnaces are nothing but where, if you have ever seen in a movie or a documentary where breads are made, you will see that there's a fire, inside, and then they put these molds on sort of a tray and put it inside. So there is fire around, and this bread bakes, and then they pull out. So if you have ever watched on TLC or Discovery, or even now you can Google or even watch it on YouTube as well. So now things have become more easy. You don't have to really worry. You can just Google up and you get every information. So you can do that and see what exactly it is. Now, the fire in the furnace has not yet been extinguished. So what does he say? The fire in the furnace is not put out. Extinguished is not put out. Understand? It's always burning, which means there's always bread, nice, lovely bread being baked. The thud and jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo, heralding his arrival in the morning. Now here, the thud and jingle is nothing but the sound, which means all these breads, the baker who used to carry around, used to put it in a bamboo basket. And then that basket hitting the cycle or whatever he was using, was touching the cycle or the rickshaw or whatever. And then the sound which was made was very, very familiar with all of them. And then heralding his arrival is where he was announcing. As you know that even nowadays when people are selling, fruits or any accessory or anything, they shout out, isn't it? Like even when you go to the market, you hear people shouting out whatever they are selling. The same way, even on the streets, if somebody is selling some commodity, they shout out so that the others inside the house will know that they are selling something on the streets. The same way, this baker also used to announce or shout out that he has come so that everybody can hear. Now, maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. So, what does he say? Maybe these bakers who are time old, which means who are carrying their profession for many years, maybe the old people, which means their fathers may not be alive, but the son carries on the family profession of baking. Now, these bakers are even today known as padder in Goa, which means the bakers are known as padder. What are they known as? PADA, padder in Goa. They were known earlier and now also as padder. Now, during our childhood in Goa, the baker used to be our friend, companion, and guide. Now, during our childhood in Goa, what happened when they were children? The baker used to be their friend, companion, and guide. So, a companion is nothing but who gives you company, and then a guide probably who guides you in some things which you need. So they felt him that way. And he used to come at least twice a day. Now, this baker used to visit their house twice a day. So when was that? One was in the morning when they were selling around, and then again while returning with their empty huge basket. So twice. Now the jingling thud of his bamboo woke us up from sleep, and we ran to meet and greet him. So now this sound, the jingle of the basket with the cycle, this sound was always something which woke the children up, and they ran to meet and greet him. Now, why did they run to meet and greet him? What was that? Because they loved the bread loaf? No, it was not for that. It was the loaves were because most of the time the loaves were bought by some Paskin or Bastin. Now, Paskin or Bastin are the names. I mean, he's just roughly mentioning that some maid servant with this name, Paskin or Bastin, would go and get the bread loaf needed for the house. So then why did these kids go running when they heard the baker coming? Why? Because they longed for those bread bangles which were chosen carefully. So they don't look forward for the bread loaf. These kids always ran for the baker because they wanted the bread bangles and for some sweet bread. Now, what are bread bangles? You will see that in the next slide. We kids would be pushed aside with a mild rebuke, and the loaves would be delivered to the servant. But we would not give up. We would climb a bench or the parapet and peep into the basket somehow. I can still recall the typical fragrance of those loaves. Loaves for the elders and the bangles for the children. Then we did not even care to brush our teeth or wash our mouths properly. And why should we? Who would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf for the toothbrush? And why was it necessary at all? The tiger never brushed his teeth. Hot tea could wash and clean up everything so nicely, after all. So now here, as you can see, the baker, how would he enter? He would make a musical entry. And what was that musical entry? He had a bamboo staff. Bamboo staff is nothing but a stick. So probably he used to hit it on the cycle or whatever, where he used to make this musical sound, chung chung sound, which would grab everybody's attention, making them aware that the baker is around selling bread. Now one hand supported the basket on his head and the other banged the bamboo on the ground. So he would hold the basket on his head and then he would hit this bamboo on the ground, making this sound. He would greet the lady of the house with good morning and then place his basket on the vertical bamboo. So he would wish the lady of the house who used to come out to buy bread, he used to wish them good morning and then place the basket on the vertical bamboo. And then we kids would be pushed aside with a mild rebuke and the loaves would be delivered to the servant. So now, generally when these bakers used to come with loads of bread in the basket, they used to come close and try to see what is what, and like how most of the kids gets excited and they want to literally come over and fall over and see. But then the kids were rebuked. Rebuked is nothing but where you were scolded or you were not allowed to go touch them or take them. And then what these kids used to do, would they stop themselves? No. So the loaves would be delivered to the servant. The kids were not allowed to come anywhere close. They were shouted and asked not to touch them because the servants would take them and go away. But what these kids used to do, they used to not give up. They would climb a bench or a parapet and peep into the basket. Bench, you all know. What is a parapet? So there's a tiny wall which is closer to the roof. So that is something called a parapet where you can stand and watch, which is very reachable for anybody to stand. So they would stand there and they would peep into the basket. Why they would peep into the basket? Because one thing is the fragrance of those loaves, you know, the scent of the loaves, the bread, which was so mesmerizing, which was so, you know, make them so hungry. And mainly here the bread loaves were for the elders and bangles were for children. Now these kids, they love these bangle bread so much that they didn't even care to brush their teeth or wash their mouth properly. Now here, why they just wanted to go grab a bangle bread and eat it up with that scent smell, you know, making you feel so hungry and just want to gulp it down. But no, so with this strong feeling where they just want to eat up that bangle bread, they used to think, oh my God, who is going to even brush the teeth and who's going to wash the mouth? Why don't we just eat it? And then they say, who's going to take the trouble of plucking mango leaf for the toothbrush? So probably they were asked to brush with a mango leaf. So they say, who's going to pluck, you know, pull out a mango leaf and use it as a toothbrush. And they say, why is it all necessary? I mean, why do we have to even brush our teeth and wash our mouth? Why can't we just eat it directly? So we can just see how much they love this bread. And they compare this way. They say the tiger never brushed his teeth. So they say the tiger never brushes his teeth and he eats everything. And they say hot tea would wash and clean up everything so nicely after all. So they believe, why do we have to brush? Neither the tiger brushes his teeth, he happily eats everything. And they say that the hot tea could wash and clean up everything so well. So here we can see the children's love for the bangle bread. They loved it so much that they couldn't resist and they couldn't wait to brush their teeth or wash their mouth. So they just wanted to gulp it down. Now for you to know what exactly are bol and bolina, see this picture. This is bol, the bread. It is for the weddings, and these are bolinas, you know, a sort of a bread. And this is the cake which they make for Christmas and other festivals. Okay, since you wouldn't know, I took these pics for you all, downloaded them. So hope you all know what are these. And these are sort of sandwiches which are made by the lady of the house for her daughter's engagement. And this is a kabai. Okay, now we move on. Now the baker usually collected his bills at the end of the month. Monthly accounts used to be recorded on some wall in pencil. Baking was indeed a profitable profession in the old days. The baker and his family never starved. He, his family, and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. Their plum physique was an open testimony to this. Even today, any person with a jackfruit-like physical appearance is easily compared to a baker. So now, what do they say? The baker usually collected his bills at the end of the month. So here, as we know that the baker would come every day selling freshly baked bread. So how would they pay him? Would they pay him every day? No. It was like every month end, he would give the bills and collect the money. Now monthly accounts used to be recorded on some wall in pencil. So in case anybody used to pay late or just to keep a track of how much they have to pay, what he used to do, wherever he used to sell the bread, whichever house, he used to write on the wall the monthly account. So this month you have to pay so much, or this month you have a balance of so much, or you're paid half, or whatever. So the record was done or written on the wall of the house. Now baking was indeed a profitable profession in old days. So obviously after going through the entire lesson, what we do understand is Goa has a very strong influence of Portuguese and their bread, and so we can see that every family had to have a bread and every occasion demands a type of bread, which means that a baker is surely a very important person, and he would surely be making a lot of profit. Profit is about making more money and being successful in olden days. And they say that the baker and his family never starved, never suffered for hunger, or never ever had any trouble, because they had a real good time then. He, his family, and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. So the author says that the bakers were the happier ones. They never ran out of money, or they never looked that they didn't have anything to eat. He, his family, and his servants, all of them looked very happy and prosperous, where they were, developing and having good money and wealth. Now, their plum physique was an open testimony to this. Plum physique is nothing but where you look nice and round and chubby and healthy. Okay, that's called a plum physique. So, what does the author says that these people who look really healthy, nice and round, eating well, prosperous, happy, they generally say, see, when somebody's got a good tummy and very happy, they say, oh, it shows, a bigger tummy is shows that you're very happy. So some people even relate that way. So if you see somebody having a nice big tummy, they say, oh, he's a happy person, usually having a happy life. Well, nowadays it's not like that, but in good old days they used to always say that a nice plump figure, or who had a tummy, would always say, oh, he's a happy man. Okay, so that's what the author is trying to tell us. So his plum physique was an open testimony. Testimony is nothing but which shows, a proof that he was a very happy and wealthy man. Even today, any person with a jackfruit-like physical appearance is easily compared to a baker. So he says even today, when somebody sees a person who has a jackfruit-like appearance, so I have just given a picture here. I hope all of you know what's a jackfruit. It's nice and big and huge and round. So he says any person who has this jackfruit-like appearance is compared to a baker. So they compare him, whether he's baker or not is secondary, but they immediately tag that person to, oh wow, he looks like a jackfruit, so obviously he should be a baker. That's what was their view, or looking at a baker, because he was the only person who was very prosperous, happy and wealthy in those days. Okay. So with this, we come to the end of this lesson. So I hope you have learned about the Portuguese influence on Goa and how Portuguese people loved bread. And now, even though they don't really exist much in Goa, but their influence, that is the influence of bread and the different types of bread needed for different occasions, it's still running in today's world in Goa. And you can see how people look forward for a baker and how they stay enjoy, and how a person was really prosperous in those days, whoever was a baker. So this is what we come to know in today's lesson. So this is part 1, which is a baker from Goa. So we have another 2 parts from this lesson, that is Glimpses of India is actually unit 7. Now your first question, as usual, as I always say, you're supposed to write your summary with the character sketch and what exactly that the lesson depict on. Here there are not many characters except the baker, but then what exactly is the lesson stressing on? You have to write down the aspects so that it makes you easy to understand the lesson later on at the same time. Now here we have seen how bread influences, or how important bread is for various occasions. So what I want you all to write down, what I want to ask you is, how important do you think traditions, rituals, values and practices in a family, or in a village, influence you to be a better person? Do you think they're really important? Do you think the practices, or the the traditions, the heritage values, do you think all these comprise us to be a better person? Do you think they're really important, which help us to evolve as a better person? So I want you all to write these views, your own views, how important it is, why is it important, and does it really make a person better? Okay, so this is what is a second question. And the third one, how important was a baker in Goa? So this is a straight question. You should be able to write on your own. How important was a baker in Goa? So write down all these, and I will be giving you all an assignment as well, where I would like you to answer so that it helps you to remember and have a quick short revision, which will make you more smart in your concepts. Okay, until then, please go through the meanings, read the difficult words, and make sure you're updated with all the language aspects. You're not left out. You have a lot of time at home. Make sure you're not wasting too much. Allocate time for studies, for play, and for rest. Okay, take care. God bless you.